Jet Lawrence dominates the 250 race at Daytona, while Eli Tomac grabs a record-breaking 6th Daytona Supercross win. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? My name is Tyler Deering, back with another episode of Gate Drop News. Tonight, just finished watching the night show for Daytona Supercross. We saw some great racing. Thankfully, not a lot of crashes after the series has seen its fair share of falls and tumbles in recent weeks. We saw Jet Lawrence take a commanding win, while Eli Tomac extends his championship lead after some shenanigans further down in the pack. Let's get right into it with the 250 main results. Starting off the night show was the 250 main. Jet Lawrence in a depleted field did not get the whole shot. That honor went to Stilez Robertson. Jet grabbed the lead in the first bull turn, never looked back, led all 14 laps, and won by 14 seconds. Not much to say outside of Jet was extremely dominant. It never looked like he was going to lose this race. But further down the pack, we've got some bigger stories to cover. Stilez Robertson had a career-defining moment tonight. In the last year of his pro contract, only age 19, he backed up his second Supercross podium. He got one at Daytona last year. Same thing, finished second. He looked good tonight. He wasn't on pace with Jet, but quite frankly, nobody is. It was good to see him running up front. Cameron McAdoo comes home third. McAdoo ran 7th most of the night after they said it was a knee injury in his post-race interview. In the heat races, he wasn't even sure if he was going to ride. He took the sight lap, literally telling his mechanic, we'll see if I'll be able to make it the whole main event. But it didn't look like it whatsoever. Once that adrenaline got going, he was a monster. Didn't get a great start, rode all the way up to third, and keeps the championship fight to only 5 points after 3 rounds. With everybody going down, McAdoo has a serious chance to win this title. One small crash from Jet Lawrence could open the door for Cameron McAdoo to slide in and get Mitch Payton that championship that he so wants. Further down the order, Pierce Brown just misses a podium. He rode pretty well with Enzo Lopes coming home 5th. He and Phil Nicoletti, who's further down, ran 2-3 for most of the beginning of the race. I've said it before, I don't think that Club MX bike is anything special this year. It is a Yamaha, but I talked with HP Race Development on a previous episode, and he said the same thing that I had been seeing, which was I don't know how much pace that bike actually has. I think in the engine department, maybe they're a little bit lacking, but either way, Enzo Lopes is on fire. Dude has all the pace for that team. He's carrying the banner. It was awesome to see him running up front, but he just couldn't hold on to that Yamaha to get a podium. Jordan Smith comes home 6th with RJ Hampshire in 7th. Hampshire rode good. He won his heat race, but had 2 crashes in the main that led to the 7th place. Phil Nicoletti in 8th. Like I said, he was up in that top 3, but just couldn't quite hang on. A little bit of age, a little bit of bike. The world may never know. Maybe a mixture of both, but still top 10 for Phil Nicoletti is a great night. Chase Owen 11th and Josh Short in 12th. Short, popular privateer from Texas, my home state. Good to see him running up front in a regional 250 class. Nonetheless, at Daytona, super cool to see him up front. Further down the pack, Derek Drake and Jarrett Fry both had moments. They did not finish the race, and Kyle Peters in last was really the only major crash of the night to my knowledge. He went down with an apparent shoulder injury. We'll update you guys on his condition when more is announced. But for the championship fight, it is Jet Lawrence, it is Cameron McAdoo. Stilez Robertson is up there, but realistically, it's going to be Jet and McAdoo unless one or both of them goes down, in which case we could see some calamity deeper in the field. The East was not as competitive as the West to begin with, but after many injuries, it looks like it's Jet's championship to lose. We'll see how it plays out. On to the main attraction, the 450 main event saw a great race up front between Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac. Webb got out in front, led for the majority of the race until Shane McElrath tried to switch lanes before the split option, coming back before the over-under and before the wall jump. McElrath clearly did not mean to slow Webb up at all, but the KTM affiliate moved over to the right. Webb was already committed, had nowhere to go, went slightly off the track, didn't crash, but by then the damage was done. Tomac had passed him, and Webb had lost valuable time. He was never able to recover as there was only about 3 laps left in the main event. For Tomac, he looked unstoppable getting the win, but the defining moment of the night was in the first lap. Coming through the sand section, Malcolm Stewart clearly tried to take out Jason Anderson, and in a move that could best be described as optimistic. Both of them went down. Let's take a quick look at it.
He has a look at the inside. Oh, they go there again. The two guys who clashed last week.
That is retribution.
Stewart, in an attempt to take out Anderson, goes for his back tire. Unfortunately, gets his right front. In addition to Anderson's back tire, they both go down, lose valuable time. For Stewart, it was a shame because he was fastest qualifier and he won his heat race. I think he honestly could have won the race if he had just kept it a little bit cleaner. Later in the race, after falling down, they actually got together again because they had both fallen back in the pack. They were in that same group, kind of coming up through the field. Stewart came into a very rutted turn, got caught up with Dean Wilson, checked Dean up, which actually knocked Anderson down. Stewart didn't fall down terribly hard, but I mean, it was just a mess for both of those guys. It was perfect for Tomac. Not only was he in the lead, but his championship contenders were fighting each other for 10th in the background. So great night for Tomac, terrible night for those other two guys. So Tomac first, Webb second, Sexton in third. He looked like maybe he had the pace, but once Tomac got by him, he was nowhere to be found. Still a good run. Third place in Daytona Supercross is not bad for Chase Sexton. Dylan Ferrandis fourth, Justin Barcia fifth. Ferrandis continues to get bad starts, but even if he was up front, I don't think he would have hung on. Sixth, Marvin Musquin. Seventh, Malcolm Stewart comes all the way back with Jason Anderson in eighth. Fitting that those two guys would end up next to each other because they literally were bar to bar all night. Ken Roczen finishing ninth was a pitiful display. He was in the top couple riders in the first lap, got caught up in a little mess right before the Anderson and Stewart debacle, but he was running fifth. You just saw him on timing and scoring, plummeting down the order. About halfway through the main event, Ken Roczen had a 12-second lead over Malcolm Stewart. 12 seconds! And he ends up losing to not only Malcolm Stewart, and Jason Anderson. A terrible night for Ken Roczen. I cannot understate how bad this is for his career because I don't see him coming back with Honda. If he's going to run 10th like this, especially when Chase Sexton is up front, contending for podiums and contending for wins, where does he go? I have no idea because he has strong Red Bull ties. Does he go to KTM? Maybe he replaces Marvin Musquin, but I think that's unlikely. I mean, it's nervy times for Ken Roczen right now in Supercross. Dean Wilson 10th, Justin Bogle 11th, Vince Friese in 12th. Bogle actually had to go to the LCQ, so good finish for him. Chiz 13th with McElrath in 14th. Marchbanks in 15th. He was actually running close to the top 10 when he had a goggle issue. He had to go get new ones, so tough night for him. He also had to go to the LCQ. Justin Brayton 16th with Hartreth in 17th. 18th, Ryan Brees. 19th, Cade Clayson. Good night for those guys. Further down the order, Justin Starling and Alex Martin, rounded up by Brandon Scherer. Overall, you saw a lot of good, clean racing outside of Stewart and Tomac. Really not a whole lot of guys going down, which is good for the series. You're keeping your top guys healthy. You won't see Aaron Plessinger in this video because he broke his arm in practice. He's out for the year. But as we look at the championship fight, it is Tomac with a big lead. Tomac's lead increases now to 17 points over Jason Anderson. Malcolm Stewart lost points as well tonight. For Tomac, perfect night. He gets the win, no trouble. He extends the points lead, and he looks primed to run away with it. Yes, Jason Anderson, I think, is still going to get some wins. We might even see Malcolm Stewart up there contending for some wins. Maybe Cooper Webb, but outside of that, we've kind of got our 4 to 6 riders, I think, at this point that could legitimately contend for a race win. It'll be interesting to see kind of where the series goes next. They're going back up to Detroit, which will be a typical stadium-style race. We're in for a good show regardless. I think we're going to have some guys putting aggressive moves on. We've got guys mad at each other. Everything you want as a Supercross fan. So stick around right here. We're going to be covering all of it. Thank you guys so much for your time. Have an awesome night. We will see you all in the next video.